Yep, hopefully it's live. Yep, 10 seconds in. All right, hey, kia ora, welcome back everybody. Just finished some training, got back home, and my comments and emails has got quite a few things in there, and there's a number of questions, so I thought make use of this live thing. It's quite handy, so I'll try and answer the questions as best I can. Some of them I just may not even have an answer to, but there's a bit of a mix of stuff in here actually, and then there's some comments around ideas a little bit later on, so I'll look to try to get to those if I can. We'll see how this goes. So first one here is from a guy at, well, a person at Paul Coot 3094. There's a couple in here actually. He says, "G'day mate, as earlier discussed, we have been training for carrying things by carrying dumbbells around without wrist straps. Our goal is 2 kilometer carry with 230 kilo dumbbells. We are at 1200 meters with 17.5 kg dumbbells and finding that the left hand fails whilst the right stays strong. We have attempted different angles of holding. Any thoughts on how to catch up the left holding strength?" So that's the first part, and then it goes into the second part. So I think this may be on the back end of, I mentioned that I've received a few inquiries via email in regards to preparation for the dunes and that sort of stuff, for more specifically the NZ selection. There's been a couple of bits and pieces in and around lucky dip from people, but that's in relation to the Australian selection, that one. But for this part here, man, I mean, I've been upfront and said it at the start, I never trained specifically for the dunes. You've got here, your goal is 2 kilometers carrying with 230 kilo dumbbells. That's cool. If you've got a goal to carry 2 30 kilo dumbbells for 2 kilometers, I assume non-stop, keep chipping away at that. You're at 17.5 kg dumbbells for 1200 meters. Man, that's a good effort. But the left hand fails while the right stays strong. Any thoughts on how to catch up the left holding strength? Just start focusing more on the left hand, add a little bit more weight, carry a little bit more weight with that hand where you can. If your right hand is staying strong, you can probably give that right arm a bit of a breather and do a couple of extra sessions, do some interval sessions, not necessarily for speed, but just for distance. So if you're getting all the way to 1200 meters with the 17.5 kg dumbbells, then maybe increase the weight, but do shorter distances. So maybe 600 or 800 meters with a 20 kilo dumbbell, or a 22 kilo dumbbell and doing 400, 500 meter distances, put it down, have a short breather, pick it up and go again. That sort of stuff might be helpful. Again, I'm shooting from the hip here because that's not a goal that I've ever had, and it's not something that I've looked to try to work towards, but appreciate you asking anyway. Next part of the same person's question: non-stop carrying with a 10 kg in the left hand and 20 kg in the right, we can get to 1600 meters. Again, awesome effort. 4 laps of the track. Do we just keep going with different weights on each side until we reach 30 kgs on the right for 2 kilometers and progress the left heavier? Or should we carry 30 kgs past 2 kilometers and use the extra distance to build the left? Not sure how to advance. So yeah, I think there's probably a value benefit in all of that, and any one of those thoughts or progressions that you want to try. I think if I was looking at it for me, I would probably look at doing maybe something similar in terms of pick up the weight in terms of where I'm currently at. So if the goal is 2 kilometer carry at 230 kilo dumbbells, no straps, I would probably start there. If everything felt all right, I'd pick up 230 kilo dumbbells and walk as far as I can for the first round to get a bit of a gauge of where I'm at. If I manage to get half a lap or 1 lap, then I know I've got plenty of work to do, or a long way to go. And then from there, I would probably just start scaling it back and doing sub-maximum distances, for me anyway, and then test again a max distance maybe every 5th week or 6th week. That's just me. I'd probably dial the weights back and look to progressively increase the weight in that as well. So if I did two 30-kilo dumbbells, one in each hand, walked as far as I could, and I managed to squeeze out 400 meters. Not only have I got a heck of a long way to go and a lot of work to do, but I would look to dial back the weight and look to do or build up to or work towards that 2-kilometer distance. Whether I do that one hit or whether I accumulate that distance with doing one round at a time. So maybe I dial it back to 2 10-kilo dumbbells, then 12 and a half the next week, then 15 the following week, and sort of progressively increase like that. And doing intervals. Intervals are not necessarily for speed, although you might want to move quickly, it's up to you, but more for that distance and carrying and building up the ability to go longer and further. Yeah, that's one example, and then, or suggestion, for want of a better term. And then I don't think there's anything wrong with your other ones. We've got progress the lift heavier, or should we carry the 30 kgs past 2 kilometers and use the extra distance to build the lift? You could do all of that stuff. If your right hand is really, really strong, which it sounds like it is, then just focus on that left hand for a bit. Nothing stopping you from doing the carries with just the left hand and going a bit heavier with the weight and breaking that up and doing 4, 5, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, whatever you want to call it, of 200 sub-maximum distance. So if I did 400, maybe go 200, 250 meters and do 5, 6, 8 rounds of that with a breather in between. So yeah, I think there's lots of different ways. I'm no expert, on building farmers carry capacity, and like I said, I've never had a goal of 2 kilometers carrying 2 30-kilo dumbbells. So fill your boots, man. Sorry I can't be much more help, but also appreciate the messages that you've sent through as well regarding the reckoning and that sort of stuff. Yeah, a bit of a tip, like it's a lot further than 2 kilometers that participants will be moving when it comes time to doing a Von Temsky type aspect with regards to the reckoning itself, if it goes ahead, if the next one goes ahead, like if we've got enough participants. All right, so here's so this is from @Tango X-Ray 200 Mike Kilo number 5 and then shooter. In the comments it's got, hey lad, you've never really spoken about the mental side of selection. I have in the Q&A section. I've answered questions and stuff in and around that, but we'll go through this anyway. How you beat that side. The hardest thing I've ever done is fight with my own mind, give up, keep going, dig deep lad, dig deep. How did deal with that? How did deal with that? I'm assuming how did I deal with that? Also, what's the education side like? I'm sure average Joe wouldn't measure up, ? Don't know no X SAS talk about how clever you have to be. I'm sure it's not just about fitness. We can shout straight-ish what the education standard like, or don't that matter? Holy heck, bro. Yeah, but garbled and that sort of stuff there with regards to your comments, but I think I've got the gist of what you're talking about. The first part, mental side, yeah, I have spoken about it. People have asked, how do you build mental resilience? How do you push past those times or those moments when your mind is telling you to quit and your body's sore and you're tired? I don't have any dark secrets. Like for me, I wanted to be there. So the mental side for me was just keep going. It was as simple as that. I think people want some sort of magic formula or 3-step, 5-step, 10-step program that they can follow that somehow people apply to be able to get through hard things. Yeah, I didn't have any of those. I lent on my upbringing. I lent on the good examples of hard work that I had, especially my mum, her being a single mum and her working a lot of labor-intensive type work, then her getting me into laboring work. And so the mental side, I'd been through a number of wanting to quit moments in those jobs as a young high schooler, intermediate and high schooler working, and I wasn't allowed to. And then sure enough, I learnt and understood that my body would adapt, that I would get used to it, and that I can do a heck of a lot more than what I thought I was capable of. So that's why I cracked on with it. Plus, mum wasn't about to let me quit in those jobs. So I had to keep going. I had no choice. So the mental side of things, yeah, I don't have a 3-step, 5-step, 10-step program for people. Like, you either want it or you don't. And that was my formula for me. When things got hard, I spoke about the dunes. I had different scenarios going on in my head in terms of what I would do for me and how I would look to try to get through those things. So anyway, yeah, that's probably that. What did I do? Yeah, I just keep going. Bill Bestick spoke about when I interviewed him a while ago, ex-SAS operator, officer, doctor/helicopter pilot. He's living over in Australia these days. He spoke about some of those dark times where he just broke everything back. Can I stand up? Okay, can I take one step? Can I take another step? And he just moved through and broke everything down to basically one foot in front of the other, and smashed it. So everybody, I suppose, has got their own different take on what they would do and how they would go about doing things when things get hard. And I suppose a recipe, for want of a better term, is that keep turning up, keep staying in the fight, putting one foot in front of the other and taking one day at a time. For me, there's a lot of value in that. Anyway, and then the education. What's the education side like? I'm sure the average Joe wouldn't measure up. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I was bare minimum school C when I finished high school to go into the army, and I only just scraped through school certificate. I don't know what it's called these days. But high school certificate, 5th form, maths, English and science were the basics, and I failed my year, my first time in 5th form, so I had to resit my high school certificate year in 6th form, which was the second to last year of high school at that time. And then I finished high school in 7th form, and I barely, I got like a 55, I think, overall for which was a bare minimum pass. So no rocket scientist, and I don't get me wrong, there are some very smart and intelligent people, far smarter and far more intelligent than me. And, at times it made me look around the room and go, how the hell did I get here? But I suppose I must have done enough with regards to the psychometric testing, the psych assessments that happen and stuff as well, some of the written stuff that happens. I don't know what they were looking for, but I just answered the questions as honestly as I could. And I think I must have done enough to get through that in both Australia, in both New Zealand and Australia. So, yeah, I don't think there's any rocket scientists in there, but I suppose in terms of education or how clever somebody is, there's what's the words I'm looking for? There's some, I suppose, a very, I would say, a pragmatic approach with regards to some of the types of scenarios and work and situations that happen, some of the stress that happens in particular on the Australian SAS with the different scenarios and the gorillas that are there in terms of the situations that you're walking into and what you're needing to try to do to build relationships and all those sorts of things. I think those aspects all play a part in how does this person think? How does this person problem solve? How does this person communicate? How do they lead? How do they follow? And I think with regards to all those attributes and a whole bunch of other stuff that happens in the background, they probably factor that into consideration. And when it comes time for, if there was any more challenging things to do in the progression towards wanting to become or towards becoming a member of the unit, then I think they're probably confident that they could maybe teach that. So if I give an example that stands out, and I don't remember all the calculations that took place, but what I do remember is that the demolitions course for me, some of that stuff I struggled with the calculations with regards to the explosives to be used and all that sort of stuff. Then there's also, and I don't remember what the formulas were, also the formulas for the test burns on the Fuse E that we would have with regards to lighting that. It's like for want of a better term, it's like having a wick on not on a candle, but like a firecracker where you light it, and you've done the test burn, you've done the calculation to work out I need this length, which is going to give me this amount of burn time, which will give me enough time to walk or to get back to a safe distance, whatever the case might be. And we had to be, from memory, either within 15 to 30 seconds either side of that. And when you think it's, the last 10 seconds, you're supposed to call out 10, 9, 8, 7, and you call out. You're trying to, and your fingers crossed, hoping for it to, when you say 1, that shortly after that, or at 1, that you get the explosion. I don't think that ever happened for me, but I managed to be within the give or take, the plus minus of the burn itself. And I was struggling with the calculation, so I had to do some extras and I had to ask my teammates. But once I sat in there and spent the time, I got it. So if that's any indication of how not smart I was, and how not smart, I suppose you don't have to be this blanket maths legend and scientist and all that sort of stuff to be in there, because it's soldering, and then there's some other skills like that, as an example, some basic maths, which thankfully I was able to grasp and pick up with the help of the instructors and my peers on the cycle. So that's probably the only one that really stands out to me. Intelligence wise, I think, being a good person, having integrity, being proactive, being physically fit, like you said, it's not all about just the physical aspects of it. It's your ability to lead, to follow, to communicate, to read a situation, to maintain awareness, and to do the basics really well. Basics when it comes to soldiering, and then looking to grow or looking to expand upon and improve on those things. So I don't know if that's what you're after with regards to the education. I'm sure it's not just about fitness. We can shout straight-ish. Maybe you mean shoot straight-ish. I don't know what the education standard like or don't that matter. Well, I'd say you can't be going in there and being a complete numpty. You can't go in there and be a complete blank and no idea, because that's not going to help your case either. But again, the selection would weed out that stuff. If you're a bloody dum-dum, or if I was a full-on dum-dum, then it likely would have weeded me out, as well as others. So hopefully that answers that question anyway. Hard case. Just a quick one. Complex activities. Audio was messing up on this video. That's the recent upload that I put up, or that went up in regards to JCal, the investigation for that. So sorry about that, with the audio being messed up. Left Hand Black. How's the knee doing? Knee is doing okay. Still not running. I think it's probably a bit more of a meniscus-y type part now, as I've been having a look or having a feel in terms of where the pain is. But I've been nursing that, and it's going okay. I'd like it to recover quicker so that I can start running and stuff again, and doing some skipping and some impact stuff, but I can't yet. So just doing what I can, which is okay. I can still get a lot of work, and I can still get a good sweat up. What's this? Oh yeah, there's a few. So there's a few. I think I can share this handle. I don't know if it's one of the people that sent through the emails. At 8 Bravo Charlie 6. The 24th of Jan is my B day, so will be a perfect way to kick off the new year, new goals, workouts, etc. That's one of the options for the reckoning, 24th of January. Plus rewarding myself with some protein pancakes, scrambled eggs, thick bacon slices, real Vermont maple syrup, good quality coffee will be that much more motivation to push myself even harder, etc. Okay, well that's one of the people that's looking to sign up and do the reckoning next year. Where have we got? What have we got? I should say. No, that's not one. That's not one. Oh yeah, okay. This is sort of a. I actually received a couple of messages in addition to this. So at Lachlan Shaw, 6998. Sorry if I've got that wrong. It's got Lachlan, then SHAWYER 6998. Scott, cheer brother, if you have any, what are your opinions on the Tom Phillips shooting in the Waikato? So he's put this comment on the UKSF war crimes, the questions you asked and my response. Yeah, sad, man. Tragic with regards to what's happened. From what little I know, it's not something that I've followed. I know he's been, and I only know this from seeing the feeds pop up recently and what's happened. First, hopefully the police officer is all right. That got shot. From all reports, from what I've seen, that it's alleged that Tom Phillips shot the police officer. And from what I could see in the police car, like those bullet holes in the windscreen didn't get there themselves. From what I heard, the police officer got shot in the head and was going through a whole bunch of surgery. So I hope he's okay first. Sad in terms of, Mr. Phillips, if this is everything that happened, that he decided to respond or retaliate or go out that way. And again, hard on the police officer or police officers, I don't know, but another police officer that rocked up and then ended up shooting and dropping Tom Phillips. From what I heard, they tried to resuscitate him as well, but he died on the scene. So hard all round, hard for the police officer that's been shot, hard for Tom Phillips and his family, hard for the police officer that then also had to shoot to defend themselves and his colleague, and ultimately take the life of Tom Phillips. Hard on the children. So from what I understand, there's three children that have been out, in the wops for the last 4 years. So yeah, my thoughts is just, it's tragic, heartbreaking for everybody involved. But yeah, man, the police have got a hard enough job. Don't get me wrong, police aren't perfect, eh? Like we've seen the what was he, the former deputy police commissioner or whatever, and that bloody muppet using his for like explicit materials on his work computer or child pornography or whatever it is. But that clown is going through whatever process he has to go to. But it just highlights, police, they're not perfect, but no organization is, right? Every organization's got some bad apples in them, but that's no excuse to be looking to treat police like rubbish. That's just my thoughts anyway. They've got they've got an extremely hard job, man, and not made any easier when they're having to confront or deal with situations like that. So yeah, sad. Those are my thoughts, and just hope those young children get all the support that they need, because it's going to be a long, heavy and hard road for them and their families, those that are left behind. Where are we? Hopefully that's those. No. And then in here is, I'm just looking at the emails now. So there's a couple of requests come through. These are the last ones, but I'll put them in here. So they are questions and it's come through. Hey, Joe, really love the content. Wondering if you wouldn't mind doing a reaction to the Anti-Hero podcast, the episode where they've done the Barney Fife of Baghdad, Mr. I think it's John Shrek McPhee. I've intentionally stayed away from that stuff. I can only imagine. So this is on the Anti-Hero podcast, Mr. Brent Tucker, and I forget who his colleague is, but from all accounts, highly reputable people. I think the other guy that he usually does the show with got a policing background, and Brent Tucker is ex-Delta. Plenty of experience, combat experience and all that sort of stuff, operational experience between the two of them. And I think what they've done is they're reacting to some stuff that Shrek has done on I shouldn't call him Shrek, that John McPhee has done on the Sean Ryan show. They've sent me the link. I had a little look at it at the start of the Anti-Hero podcast. Yeah, I'll consider it. There have been a couple of others from Aussie and a couple of mates here in NZ, people that I know, that have said, "Hey, have a look at this. You should do it. Drop your 2 cents in on this." Yeah, probably. I'll have a look and see how we go. Look to do a reaction. Don't know when I'll put that up. I've got a few other videos that are already scheduled to go up. So if I do, it'll probably end up on the channel somewhere further down the track. Similarly, people have asked about the Tim Kennedy stuff and my thoughts on Mike O'Neill. I think the guy that shot Osama bin Laden. Yeah, I've intentionally stayed away from that stuff. Let the Americans sort that, well, not sort that stuff out, but let them speak to it. So anyway, that's the update. Those are the questions. That's my that's about as I think. Hang on, let me just jump back in here. It's been a while since I came back. That's brave. No, that's not on. No, cool. Yeah, that's all the questions. So I'll just respond to those in the comments. Just wanted to do that because this live thing is excellent with regards to just putting stuff up and getting it out there without needing to spend too much time. Not expecting anybody on the live. I don't think there is anybody on the live. I don't even know. Hopefully this is orientated the right way. I chose the horizontal, and yeah, people can watch it later. It might answer their questions, so I'll just respond to some of these and say I did a live recently or today, and you should be able to hear my 2 cents for what it's worth in this live. So anyway, that's that. Thanks for sticking around. If you made it this far, that's New Zealand Infantry Regiment flag, which I'm pleased to have for 1st Battalion. So yeah, don't ask me how I got it, and I won't need to tell you how I got it. But I'm grateful to have it, and grateful for my connection to 10NZIR and to Australia, and to and just to good people here in Aotearoa and around the place. So appreciate you once again. As always, messages the same. Anybody going through any difficult times, hard times, man, my experience is you just have to keep turning up, and you just have to keep staying in the fight, as miserable and as hard and as lonely as it can be, and as it can seem from time to time. Yeah, that's been a recipe that I've found that works. You just need to grind it out, be patient, be disciplined with what you're doing, and know that better days are ahead. Things can do, and they will get better. The sun will shine again. So anyway, as always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there's a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all. That's that.